it smells like chicken in here now. So I've left it on the burner. I pulled my chicken out. I'm going to leave it in this pan to cool off because that is way too hot for me to start stripping it now. And once you pull the chicken out, your water goes down about like that much. Now I'm going to pour all of my vegetables in. A little bit of burning there. I'm not going to have the heat super hot. So not as hot as when I was cooking the chicken. Turning it down just a little bit. I want to keep the water hot because I need it hot to cook the vegetables, but also for me to put my dumplings in there. But for now that I've pulled my chicken, I got the vegetables in, I'm going to let this cool off. When this cools off, I'll just tear it manually with my hands. I'll show you guys that. And then I'll make my dumplings. I'll probably just use my same vegetable. Oh, I forgot. Whenever the room starts smelling like awesome, so it already smells like chicken, but when it starts smelling like awesome, that's when it's time for us to start throwing dumplings in. Alright guys, now it's time. This smells good. My chicken has cooled off. So now I'm just going to tear into this dude. And I just kind of break it up and throw the pieces in there. Skin too. It's fatty and delicious. Kind of shred it up into smaller pieces. This is the breast. No, you don't get any of this, Leonard. This chicken's a little tougher than they usually are, but I bought it from the local store, so it's probably healthier than the normal chicken. Let's hope that's why it's tougher. So anyway, you're just going to keep tearing it up and putting it in. Notice I left the gizzards in. That's all the guts and stuff in the butt. I left that in when I cooked it because it makes the broth better. And I'm just going to leave it in the chicken's butt because I don't need it. Just for the broth. And now I just keep doing this over and over. So this is just an empty skeleton. Alright, welcome back y'all. This is the dumpling part. Basically it's the same as any biscuit recipe you find online. They'll have you measure it out. I'm out of baking powder, so I'm not going to end up using baking powder. You throw flour in a bowl. They have you measure it out online, but I'm not bothering with measuring it out. So you throw your flour in. And once you got your flour in there, crack a little bit of salt in there. That's plenty. And now I'm going to mix it up before, just to get the salt kind of distributed evenly. And now I'm going to put milk in there, and basically I want this thicker than you usually do for a biscuit. So you don't want it like super thin like you do for like pancakes and stuff. It should be thicker than that. You want it closer to Play-Doh. Not quite as tough as Play-Doh, but not as gentle as pancake. And I didn't really measure it out. Now, if you're trying to make biscuits, it's really important to measure it out, but I'm just dropping blobs of dough into a soup, so it's not the end of the world. Alright, still need a little more milk. I'm using whole milk because we're not on a diet around here. Alright, that might be enough to get us where we need to be. We're getting close. Now, if you don't want to mess with all this, a lot of people just go and get a can of biscuits from the store, and they open the can, and they just cut them in quarters. And that's easy enough. But we'll go ahead and say it matters a lot. Alright, it's still pretty thick, but we're getting close. A little bit more, but I'm going to be more gentle because I'm getting close, and I don't want to overdo it. If you overdo it, you can always just put more flour in, but I don't want to. Still pretty gooey. Since we're dropping them in soup, you don't want it to be, see, it's got some goop to it. It sticks together. That's probably good enough. So now, I'll move this operation over. Not a tablespoon. And there you go. I get that. And I put my finger in the middle of it. And I push down. And just plop it in there. And then I plop the other half somewhere else because I don't want them all sticking together. And as you're doing this, I like to do one and then move somewhere else for the next one. And now you'll find, like, after they've cooked for a little bit in there, they won't stick to the other ones. But if you're just plopping them all in there, when they're still fresh, they will stick to each other. And I like to just keep doing this. And when the whole top is full of dumplings, because I prefer to drop it over liquid so that it immediately starts cooking it and it doesn't stick to the rest of them. So when the top is full and you can't see any room, no liquid space to drop your dumpling, then what I do is I stir it to get all these guys mixed in and open up room to put more dumplings in. Because it's always sad when your dumplings run out before your soup does. And a lot of people go out of their way to scoop the dumplings, so it's pretty common for that to happen. This isn't that much harder. Like I said, I just, with my finger, I goop out the front half, Plop it in. Plop the second one. Get another scoop. Looking delicious. What's blowing my mind is that I'm smelling tortilla soup and dropping dumplings. This is my first time doing it this way. Usually I just do the tortilla or just do the dumpling. Now also, my wife's not a huge fan of chicken. I've done both of these recipes with duck, which comes out delicious also. You do the exact same thing. But I've done duck tortilla and I've done duck and dumpling. Both of them very delicious. Give it a little stir. Man, you guys can't smell or taste this, but it's delicious. In a little bit, I'm going to put a whole bunch of cheese in here too. A lot of times I'll put like a whole pound of cheese in there and just let it melt into the broth. It makes it a nightmare for cleaning the dishes, but that's my wife's job. So, and it's delicious, so we usually do it anyway. Plopping some in. No, we got a dumpling down. Unacceptable. No dumpling left behind. In case you're wondering, the wife did just clean that stove, so. And soup is forgiving, so you don't have to be an expert to make this awesome. I mean, basically, when your house smells delicious, your soup's probably delicious too. Alright, we almost got it all in. So we're good to go. And I'll stir it up another time. And then I'm just going to let these dudes simmer for a while. But basically, your dumplings only take like a second or so to do. So, really, these dumplings are probably already done. Oh, there it is. Woo. Totally. Tortilla, chicken, dumpling. I'm fixing to eat it.